Hey guys, how are you? Oh my god, so nice to meet all of you. I wanted to record a short video for all of us just to state some of the basics that we will be doing during the grid work. And one of the things that I wanted to introduce to you is something which is called the Krystal River spiral. And what I actually want to do is I want to share some of the specifics on what the Krystal River spiral is, why it's so important to use, and I also want to give you a short recap on the history of why and how its frequencies are being reintroduced to us again in this specific time and space. I'd like to start by explaining that the Krystal River spiral is actually our original geometry of creation. So it's the original spiral that moves through all of the 12 spheres of our universal Katara tree of life grid of the our divine blueprint, as we sometimes call it, right? Which is formed upon a template. And the Krystal River spiral is actually what will connect us back into the God worlds again when we can progressively embody more of that original blueprint within ourselves again. So what I will add in the video here is an image of the tree of life where you actually see all the 12 of those nodes of that specific blueprint, which is called the tree of life. And you know, there you can see the original colors that resonate with the different dimensional frequencies, dimensional frequencies that also relate to the color of our chakras. So it's like the universal model that everything is built upon. And it's very important to know that a lot of the hijacking that has been done to our templates or to the Earth's templates has involved inverting or bending of the original creation codes. And they were turned into coding and geometries that look and feel really, really similar to what we see over here and very, very similar to the original creation codes. But in reality, they really are not. So it can get very confusing at times. So to give you some visuals of these, we can look at this image. And what you will see here is an example of that. So you see here both the original flower of life and the artificial flower of life. So on the left, you see the original creation code. Which is an open source of universal eternal consciousness through which we are connected to the eternal fields of living light. And on the right, you see the Metatronic flower of death, also called the daisy of death, which is a fragmented and finite energy structure that has lost its connecting to source, and on which a lot of our energies here on the earth are still being pushed to run. So this is very, very important for us to understand, because this is what we will be working with, and this is what we will be restoring progressively, you know, as these missions unfold on a collective level as well, into the earth's bodies again. So the artificial tree of life template was designed with the purpose of distorting and changing all of the proportions in original Krystic architecture, to invert and to split, so that's to fracture consciousness energy, to co-create the distorted reversal structures that feed and generate artificial life in the black hole systems leading into the Phantom Matrix, where negative alien alliances or negative alien agendas, which are also called the NAA, exist. So the races in the Phantom Matrix cut themselves off of their original connection to the eternal fields of living light. And they did that so they could rule in an artificially created system. So they could basically be their own boss. They did that because they didn't want to live according to the principles of the law of one, which is basically to live in unity and in harmony with any and all living beings, right? So their goal is to maintain total control over the planet and humanity so that they can keep feeding their own bodies and system, because that's not connected to the living light energies any longer. And what is very, very important to understand is that all of these negative alien agendas that come from the phantom matrix and from the black holes, that they are connected and their blueprints are connected to something which is called a base 10 math structure. So everything that uses artificial tree of life coding is based on that base 10 math. And that's basically an enclosed system, which isn't based on an eternal living light structure. The same as what we saw in those 2 tree of lives with that image that I showed you earlier. So what I want to show you here is another image of the real 12th dimensional blueprint of our Katara tree of life and how it overlaps our body. And that's the grid that you actually see in the colored sphere. So you see the red colored one at the bottom, and then the 12 color, the circle which is colored in white with the number 12 on there, and in between you see all the other nodes and how they interconnect. And what you also see in this image is a visual representation of how that base 10 math structure actually was kind of placed on top of that. So it was actually used in order to hijack the original structures of the of our foundational template. And that's represented here in this image in the gray spheres that you see. And I have another image to show you, and that's this one over here. So what you see here is the 2 different spirals actually placed on another grid. So what you see here first is the Fibonacci spiral that everybody knows, of course, right? Which is marked in red. And it's very important to know that the Fibonacci spiral was created and used by extra-dimensional entities to hijack, siphon, and steal energy from the planetary body and humanity. So that's actually the same reason as we mentioned before. That's what this specific geometrical structure was created for. So these artificially generated Fibonacci spirals are inorganic, vampiric. I don't know how to pronounce that word in English, but that's fine. I guess you all understand what I mean. And created, and they are created through alien machinery and AI technology. So this is how the Metatronic reversal fields were created. And these are some of the energies that need to be restored with grid work that our group is going to be doing. So this is some of the coding that we will be re-encrypting into the Earth's templates again in order for the Earth to reconnect itself to the divine Krystic spiral again as well. So, and what is that then? The true Krystic spiral? That's actually the opposite of the Fibonacci spiral, and it's called the Krystal spiral. So the original organic crystal spiral that is created from the math included in humanity's organic core manifestation body is represented in the 12-3 grid and also in our diamond sun DNA, which is our DNA template that connects to our original angelic 12-stranded DNA blueprint that we progressively want to connect back into again, right? So that's very important to know. And what I would like to share with you now is a little bit of the understanding of working with that Krystal River spiral, because it can be used in overriding distortions. And that goes for the distortions in our own templates, as I said already, and also in distortions of the Earth's templates. And to give you a little idea of, you know, how these crystal frequencies and these crystal spiral energies can reach the Earth again right now, we have to go a little bit back in time. Well, actually not a little bit, a lot. We have to go back to 480 billion years ago. So what we know is that our 15-dimensional time matrix was last seeded 950 billion years ago. And 480 billion years ago into creation, something bad happened in another Akasha system. A system that was actually very closely related to ours. It was actually our parallel Akasha system. But what happened there was that there were races that were called the Borentesala. And the Borentesala had something happening, something that happened to them in their time matrix. And they were trying to fix a problem. And the way they wanted to fix that problem was actually not such a smart idea. But they created a technology which was actually an experiment that they wanted to put into practice. And this experiment was called the Victim-Victimizer program. And with this experiment, they basically tried to investigate and potentially heal what went wrong inside of their own system. But it actually went in the total opposite direction, and they created like a lot of chaos and a lot of harm and a lot of siphoning of energy, if you will, which we are actually still recovering from today. So, okay, so things didn't turn out well, and there was this time rip technology that was created during the victim-victimizer experiment. And what happened in their system is that because of the technology, extreme polarities were created. So what the victim-victimizer was trying to test was experiencing different polarities of a situation, but this eventually caused their whole system to fall. And this also started to affect our system because of that. Since, as I said, it was actually, our system was actually their parallel system. So we were actually in very, very close proximity to where they were actually located in time and space. So this victim-victimizer programming actually still very much affects us up until this day. And it's actually the origin on what a lot of the other hijacking would be built upon. So you can imagine that during the course of human evolution, that obviously there have been many ways in which this programming has been used, but that it's impossible for us to address those specifics of 480 billion years of history right here and right now. So what I think is just important for us to know right now in our work that we will be doing is that during the past 5,000 years, our planet has been operating on these reversal polarity systems that date back to this origin. And it's very important to realize that actually now we have the opportunity to break away from that. And I'll share a little bit more about how, this can be done. First, I want to show you another image. That's an image of a bi-wave to a tri-wave. So that's ascending from a closed source to open source system. And this image comes from Ascension Glossary. Actually, most of the information that I'm referencing here comes either from Ascension Glossary or from the Keylontic materials of Ashia Dean. So just to inform you on that. What you see here is another image of how such a reversal polarity system manifests, which is here through the hijacked Vesica Pisces coding, which also relates to all the other images that I just shown you now. And it's a part of the technologies that kept the consciousness polarities split through separation and distortion and locked down in our planet so that the Trinity wave unity code, which would heal and integrate those energies, would not be accessible on the Earth. So the reversal polarity currents we saw earlier were designed to stop polarity integration and to eliminate those tri-wave manifestations. And that's what the Krystal River frequencies actually will help us reconnect to. They are bringing those trinitized forms into our bodies and into the Earth's bodies again. So that's very, very important. And you can also hear that in the name. Because it's actually called the Tri-Matrix of the Krystal River cooperative. 480 billion years ago, the Krystic races of the Aquarion Matrix, the Wesala Matrix, and our founders' races, they formed a plan to bring into existence something which was called the Tri-Matrix of the Krystal River cooperative. And what they actually did was they combined their frequencies of actually 3 crystal spirals, which were still connected to those original divine templates, to combine those frequencies and to create a seal with that on a black hole, which was created in the other system that we just talked about. And in combining these frequencies together in that tri-matrix of the Krystal River cooperative, that would actually form a technology that would be much stronger than that original victim-victimizer programming would ever be. And because of very specific reasons at that time, you know, they couldn't use that technology straight away. So they needed to come up with a plan to use that technology that they designed, so the Krystal River, in at a later point in time. So it turned out to be a long-term plan that was an option for the Earth and our species' evolution. And that plan was also called the Aquarion transmissions, through which we would connect to that original coding again. Because obviously, like, they were races they could see ahead in time, and they knew the possible timelines that were going to play out. So they knew that at this point in time we would reach critical mass on the Earth again, that those frequencies could actually anchor into the fields of the Earth again. So that is actually what we're in the middle of right now. And it's those frequencies that actually are connected to those Aquarion transmissions of the Krystal River that we want to be using for clearing any of the grids that we're going to do. So a little bit on how this crystal spiral works. The crystal spiral has the potential to dissolve artificial structures that have attached and or enmeshed with our light body from other lifetimes due to trauma histories or alien hybridization. What it actually does is it recollects and reorganizes spiritual body parts while returning obsolete energies back to be reabsorbed in the cosmic mother's womb. So the Krystal River spiral perpetually retains a living, breathing connection through the preservation of what came before, as it expands through multiplication. So out of the one comes the many. And multiplication is then the alchemical process which greatly increases the consecrated refinement, the energetic effectiveness, and the sphere of influence of the embodied biological Christos Sophia eternal light source. So in other words, it connects us back to source again. The planetary body and the planetary logos are now free to follow the Krystal River spiral architecture in order to heal and help evolve the Earth, its inhabitants, and its species. So this path of ascending consciousness has been available since the year of 2012, when the Krystal River hosting began. So the fallen races, and this is very, very important to know, and also for the work that we will be doing. So the fallen races do not have the DNA templating that allows them to hijack the Krystal River spiral, because it comes from such high fields that remained untouched by all of the distortions that happened. And that's why it's the most potent energy right now on the Earth to be working with. So the original flower of life contained the Krystic sacred geometry formulas of 45-degree angles of the crystal spiral. And that's also what you see in that image with the Fibonacci spiral actually not going all the way up into the top of the image again. And whereas the Krystal River spiral actually does connect through all those 55 degree angles of the crystal spiral, and then all the way connects back into the top again, to where the 12-dimensional sphere also is. And what that does is that it perpetually sources the tritone wave from the continual phase pulsing of the feedback loop generated from the cosmic heart center of the God Source. So I wanted to share a little bit of this background knowledge with you, so we understand what the reversal frequencies are, that we recognize them in daily life and don't unconsciously reconnect to them again, and so that we can use the right geometries to move back into the higher planes of existence again. And also to give you something practical, the Krystal River prayer is the invocation and the sanctification in the original founder's language of working with these energies. So calling on this Krystal River spiral on a daily basis is one of the strongest frequencies and energies that you can currently connect to. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Let's do a little shared invocation right now. Bring forth the Krystal River of eternal first creation. Bring forth the healing waters of the Idon Sum Shadi. Bring forth the gentle wind song of the sacred unison. Bring forth here the radiant starlight of the eternally starborn. Let the Krystal River flow into our doorstep. Let the Krystal River cleanse and heal my soul. May the Krystal River love song all embracing emerge now from my Christed crystal core to softly call me home. Diva enture ista entao rea vea un cristallo. Diva enture ista entao rea vea un cristallo. Diva enture ista entao rea vea un cristallo. Okay, sending you so much love from Holland, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye.